Everybody, and welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about deadlifting and how deadlifting, or knowing how to properly deadlift, can cross over into work to make your work more effective and make it more safe. First things first, we got to approach the bar. You want your feet to be about shoulder width apart, and you want to be able to count your toes on the other side of the bar. So you want the bar to be close to your shins. Now that we know our foot positioning, we got to talk about where our hands go. So your hands are going to go on the outside of your knees. This is to reduce friction so you can cleanly pull the load up. Next, we got to talk about how to grip the bar. So I'm going to use a crossover grip in the video. It's what's more comfortable for me. It's also a stronger grip. So that means whatever hand's dominant, so I'm right hand dominant, it's going to go palm down, and then your left hand's going to go palm up. So that's going to be a crossover grip for right-handed. If you don't like that grip, if it's not comfortable, you can also use what's called an overhand grip. So that's where both hands are going to be facing like this, like you're riding a bicycle. So as you can see here, I approach the bar. My feet are visible on the other side. I pull it tight to my shins, and I'm using that crossover grip. Here's another angle for something that I also want you to do when you're deadlifting. I want you to pinch your scaps together, so pinch your shoulder blades back together, as this will take stress off your shoulders when pulling up. Next, we want to make sure that we're lifting with our legs and not our back. An easy way to do this is to make sure that your hips are below your shoulders. Another easy way to do this is to make sure that your hips is the first thing that will move when lifting and not your upper body. Here's a good example of when you do everything right except you let your hips get above your shoulders. As you can see here, I'm forced to pull with my lower back, thus increasing my chance of injury and discomfort. Another thing we need to not do is what's called the inchworm, where we throw our hips forward and arch our back, as this will increase our chance of injury. Let's do one right and go through all our cues. We want our feet to be shoulder width apart. We want the bar close to our shins. We want our hands to be on the outside of our knees. We want to use that crossover grip if comfortable. We want to pinch our shoulder blades together. And we also want to make sure that we're pulling the bar straight up and lifting through our legs. Let's see if I can do it. Here's a couple more videos just so I can emphasize how important it is that we're lifting with our legs and not our back. Now that we know how to deadlift, let's talk about why this matters for work. So I know throughout the whole video you're probably like, how could deadlifting matter for work? Deadlifting is something you do in the gym, and the gym is not work. Well, I would argue that anytime you bend over to pick up something, you're deadlifting. So whether it's the box of Twinkies in your office or the heaviest thing out in the mill, deadlifting is still picking up an object off the ground. So the movement's what's mattered. It doesn't matter the weight necessarily. It just matters more that you can move correctly. So we still want to remember what our cues are. We want the object to be close to us. We want our feet to be about shoulder width apart. We want to have a good grip on whatever we're picking up. We want our hips to be below our shoulders. We want to lift with our legs, not our back. We want to make sure that we're not throwing our hips forward, putting more stress on our back. We want to make sure that whatever object we're pulling it straight up. Knowing all this will help prevent injury and help you keep your back healthy. Too many times you hear about people throwing out their back, and oftentimes they don't have any real weight that they're picking up. It happens during the motion of performing whatever they're doing. That means motion matters and movement matters. One of the best ways that we can prevent this from happening is by moving better. And one of the ways that we can move better is by following the cues that I laid out in the beginning of this video. I hope y'all learned something, and I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I would love to help.